Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Life Transformation UK. Or if you're here for the first time, welcome to Life Transformation UK. My name is Ben, and it's my mission with this channel to help you achieve your freedom through confidence. And in today's video, I want to talk about how overthinking can absolutely ruin your confidence. I'm going to be talking a little bit about how overthinking and things like anxiety are linked, but also more importantly, how you can stop overthinking, how you can move past that to start to express yourself in a much more confident way. So if you're interested in learning more about how to overcome overthinking and start living more confidently, make sure that you watch this video all the way through so that you can get the most value from it. If you do find this video useful, make sure that you leave a like because it really helps to boost the video within the YouTube algorithm. It helps to support the channel and to let me know whether or not I'm doing a good job as a creator. So make sure that you like this video if you do find any value in it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe as well for more videos like this 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So let's jump into how to stop overthinking. Now, back when I was really suffering from anxiety, overthinking was like a constant companion of mine. I would overthink everything, and at the time, I genuinely thought that it was a strength, that I could take a situation, that I could break it down, and that I could follow a bunch of different paths, kind of like Doctor Strange in Infinity War, where he's just kind of looking at the 14 million possibilities. That was very much me a few years ago, where I would just overthink even the smallest things and follow them to the most logical and oftentimes illogical conclusions. Needless to say, it definitely was not a strength. In fact, it was a massive weakness, and it really perpetuated the amount of anxiety that I had in my life, both generally and socially. So, how exactly does overthinking lead to a general lack of confidence? Well, the first thing is that it takes you out of the moment. And as I've said in my videos on confidence before, one of the best ways to hold yourself in a confident state is to actually just be aware of what is going on in the moment and being present, not necessarily in a spiritual way, but more in a mindful way. So let's say, for example, that you are at an interview and the interviewer is telling you a little bit about the company, they're asking you questions, but in your mind, what you're thinking of is, how am I sitting? Is my tie on straight? Is there a tag sticking out of my clothing? Did I forget to brush my hair? What am I going to say next? What am I going to say if they ask me this question? What am I going to say if they ask me this question? What am I going to do if this happens? Or what am I going to do if I draw a blank on this certain question? And you're going down all these different paths. And then the interviewer says, so what do you think of that? And you realize that you've not listened to a single word that they've said because you've been overthinking. You are not in the present moment. You are projecting yourself into the future. You are projecting yourself into the past. And you've completely missed what is going on. And you have to kind of either blag your way out of it or kind of face the embarrassment of saying, I'm really sorry, I completely missed that. I was a million miles away, and potentially tanking your interview prospects. Instead, if you had been in that present moment, listening to what was going on, then you could have genuinely responded without having to overthink so much, because you would have been in the present, you would have understood what the person was saying, and then you could formulate an appropriate response from there. So that is way number one that overthinking can tank your confidence. It takes you out of the present moment. The second thing is analysis paralysis, and this is a term that I love because it's a term that I'm very, very familiar with. A good example of analysis paralysis, let's say that, because this is the situation that I found myself in, actually I'll go with my own example. So I would be at a bar. This is when I was at university. I would see an attractive girl. I'd think, right, I would like to go and speak to her, kind of see what she's like and what's going on, and maybe we'll move forward from there. And then the analysis paralysis would think, I would think, right, what am I going to say? How am I going? What's my opener? How am I going to approach it? How am I going to walk? How am I going to stand? Where am I going to stand? Should I stand on the left? Should I stand on the right? Should I offer to buy her a drink? Should I just say hello? Should I say hi, my name is Ben, or should I ask her a question? What should I? And before I knew it, kind of 2 or 3 minutes had passed. A friend came over and talked to her, and then that was kind of it. The chance had kind of dissipated because I was over analyzing the situation, so I completely missed the opportunity. And I cannot tell you how many opportunities I have probably missed to meet interesting and amazing people in life because I was just over analyzing the situation to absolute death. Because when you do try to overanalyze the situation, what happens is, like, you take in so much data, most of it which is completely false or not based in evidence at all. And because you've got all this information swimming around in your head, all you can do is nothing, because you've got to process it all this information that you're choosing to take in. Whereas there is a simpler way to do things, which I'm going to get into in just a minute. But that is the second way in which overthinking can tank your confidence: analysis paralysis. And then the third way in which overthinking can ruin your confidence is it fools you into thinking that there is a perfect way to do something. It tricks you into perfectionism, because if you can just take in all the possibilities, all the data, all the information, then you can find the best way, or the way that's most likely to proceed, kind of like Sherlock Holmes or Takeshi Kovacs from Altered Carbon, something like that, taking in all the information and formulating the best response from there for maximum success. And the fact of the matter is, you're not a computer, I'm not a computer. We just cannot do that. There is billions of individual data points that is being fed into our mind at any second, and we just cannot process it all. We cannot follow the logical conclusion of every single thing because we don't fully understand how the world works. And this is something that I had to learn over time, is that I cannot control things. I cannot find the perfect way to do stuff because I just don't know everything. And that's the only way that you can formulate the perfect response to every single situation, is if you do know everything, which is more or less impossible. And for me, all that really did was just further increase my anxiety about the world and about social situations and about life. So not being present, analysis paralysis and perfectionism really just over time made my anxiety worse and lowered my confidence overall. So let's jump into how you can overcome overthinking so that you can start living a life filled with more confidence. The first thing is from a book that I read by Mel Robbins, no relation to Tony Robbins as far as I know, but her book was called The 5-Second Rule, and I found this to be really helpful when it comes to just taking action. Because as soon as you know, let's go back to the example of me at the bar. I saw the attractive girl. Typically what I would then do was completely overthink the situation and either talk myself out of it or kind of stall myself for long enough that the opportunity gets whisked away. When Mel Robbins' rule from her book, The 5-Second Rule, is that if you have something that you want to do, if there's an action that you need to take, count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1, you launch yourself into action. So if it is that you are in bed and you've woken up and you know that you need to get up and go for a run, count down from 5, and on 1, launch yourself out of bed. Not necessarily, get yourself out of bed with energy and do what you need to do. Or in the case of me at the bar, 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1, walk over there and just talk and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? She says no, or that I'm weird. That's not really a big deal anymore. I know that I'm weird sometimes. It is what it is. But at the very least, you've taken the action and you know what the outcome is, rather than just thinking about it. And your thinking and your analysing might be correct or it might not be, but you won't know unless you take action. So that's where the 5-second rule comes in. Count down from 5 seconds, and on 1, take the action that you need to take. Step number 2 is accepting that you are going to make mistakes. And in Monday's video, I talked about making mistakes and how to own that, how to get over making mistakes in your life. So I'll link to that in the description below. I'll have it pop up above my head. You can check that video if you haven't seen it already. But the simple fact of the matter is that you are going to make mistakes, and you're going to make a lot of them in your life. So you might as well just accept that that is going to be the case, that you might say the wrong thing or you might do the wrong thing. But that shouldn't stop you from taking action, because those mistakes will ultimately be your best teachers in life. As I've said many, many times, you're going to learn a lot more from your mistakes than you will do from your successes, probably because you will ultimately make more mistakes than you will have success in life. So that is why they make a much better teacher. They're also teaching you all the different ways to not do something so that you can really hone in on the right way to act. Not that you're trying to work towards perfectionism, because as I've said, that doesn't exist and it will just ruin your life overall, but you can kind of whittle away the bad options over time. And then the final step is, of course, to recognize that your thoughts are just thoughts. This is again a concept that I've spoken about on this channel many, many times. This idea of metacognition, that you have two minds, the part of your mind that thinks the thoughts, and then the part of the mind that observes the fact that those thoughts are being thought, if you will. And you want to be the observer more often than you are the thinker, because most of your thoughts are totally automatic and uncontrolled. It's why sometimes you just have really, really weird thoughts, really, really funny thoughts, or really, really dark thoughts. And it's not you so much. It's just the firing of neurons in your brain that has created a thought, and then you can actually observe that thought and, well, why is that happening? What does it mean? And looking at it objectively. But ultimately, thoughts are just thoughts. They're not real. Most of the time, they're not real and not based in reality at all. I think it was Oscar Wilde that said, "I have known a great many troubles in my life, but most of them never happened." Because thoughts don't actually exist, and they often don't have a physical counterpart in reality. So regardless of what your thoughts are telling you about a situation, you can find a way to move past that. And as I've said, you won't know the outcome of something until you've taken action towards it. So just go out, take the action that you need, and you might find out that life is actually pretty great. So I hope you have enjoyed that video on how overthinking can potentially tank your confidence, ruin your confidence over time. I hope that you will be able to use this information to start to live more confidently in your life. If you found this video useful, if you've enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a like on the video, because it really helps to boost the video within the YouTube algorithm. It helps to support the channel, and it also lets me know if I'm doing a good job as a content creator on YouTube as well. So make sure that if you have found this video useful, that you do leave a like on the video. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe. I put out 3 videos every single week. Monday is for self-esteem, Wednesday is for self-confidence, and then Friday is more general self-improvement. If you're interested in any of those topics, make sure that you are subscribed to Life Transformation UK with the notifications on, so that you can be notified as soon as I release a new video 3 times a week. But otherwise, once again, thank you very much for making it all the way to the end of this video. If you have any thoughts or questions, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them as soon as I possibly can. But that's it. That's going to be the end of today's video, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos very soon.